Welcome to today's Muskogee Municipal Authority, September 14, 2015. Roll call, please.
Mayor Bob Coburn.
Here.
Deputy Mayor James Scully.
Here.
Dan Hall.
Present.
Marlon Coleman.
Here.
Janie Boydston.
Here.
Wayne Johnson.
Here.
Leanne Langston.
Here.
Ivory Van.
Here.
Derek Reed.
Here.
Item number 1, regular agenda.
Consider approval of the Muskogee Municipal Authority minutes of August 10th, 2015.
Move for approval. Second.
Okay. I'm not into the program yet. August 10th, 2015 minutes. Motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Deputy Mayor James Scully.
Yes.
Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Leanne Langston.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Mayor Coburn.
Yes. Motion carries. Item number 2.
Consider approval of MMA claims for the month ending August 31st, 2015.
Mr. Brown, I don't know why for sure that we have Gene Kingston on here all the time. But
Because
let's turn that over to you.
that's the way we've always done it, Mayor.
Okay.
This is a list of claims for the month of August, ending August 31st, 2015.
Move for approval. Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Deputy Mayor James Scully.
Yes.
Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Leanne Langston.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Mayor Coburn.
Yes. Motion carries, and that concludes our Muskogee Municipal Authority meeting agenda, and we will now go to the amended agenda for Muskogee City Council, September 14, 2015. Invocation will be by Councilmember Derek Reed, and then we will do the flag salute.
Shall we pray? Oh, gracious Father, we come thanking you for just allowing us to be here tonight. Thank you for just giving us the gift of a brand new day, a day we know we didn't deserve, but by your grace, your mercy, and your love, you allowed us to be here. We ask that you would just come into our midst on tonight, order our steps in your word. We just like that things that we decide tonight will be those that are in your will, and we need your power and your strength to accomplish that. These and many other blessings we ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen, Reverend.
Join us for the flag salute. Attention, salute, pledge. We now have a recognition of Muskogee Public Schools for schools of character, and the proclamation, for some reason, I didn't get in my hand before this day. So, Muskogee Public Schools, Madison Tomlinson, if you'd step to the microphone and tell us about this Friday's event.
Well, actually, it's not Muskogee Public Schools. It's Global Character Day, and it has been proclaimed by Governor Fallon that it's Character Day in Oklahoma, in the state of Oklahoma.
Okay.
Now, the school board, Muskogee School Board, will do a similar proclamation for the school system at the meeting tomorrow night, at the school board meeting tomorrow night. But Friday, September the 18th, is the second annual Global Character Day, and as I said, Governor Fallon's proclaimed that as Character Day in Oklahoma.
Muskogee schools, Hilldale and Muskogee both, have done a great job in terms of character recognition for the schools. Why don't you give us an update on the number of awards awarded in Muskogee and the number of
Oh, wow.
recognitions?
Mayor,
I'm gonna
you
really
are
test
putting me on the spot here.
Yeah.
Well, with Muskogee schools and Hilldale schools, there have been a total of 4 state and national schools of character. Muskogee High, the Rougher Alternative Academy, Hilldale Middle School, and Sadler Arts Academy. Also, in 2015, this year, Muskogee Early Childhood got an honorable mention. They're getting ready to reapply for 2016. That window actually is open already, and there is one school in Lawton that is applying. Pryor Public Schools, they have another school that's applying this year in 2015. Their high school got State and National School of Character. And there are 2 schools at least in Tulsa that are applying to in Oklahoma City. And all of that comes right back to Muskogee in the sense of it started here for the state of Oklahoma. It didn't start here for the nation. It's been going on since the late 1990s. But we have been kind of the hub for that activity.
Mr. Guard was a spokesperson on a panel today for City Muskogee Foundation training and spoke about the character initiative and what a difference it had made in the schools and conduct in the schools and outcomes with students.
Certainly has helped. No panacea, but it certainly helped a lot.
Yeah. Well, congratulations and thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Sorry to put you on the spot. The tough questions. We can now consider the minutes from the August 24th meeting, 2015. Whoops, roll call.
Mayor Bob Coburn.
Here.
Deputy Mayor James Gully.
Here.
Dan Hall.
Present.
Marlon Coleman.
Here.
Janie Boydston.
Here.
Wayne Johnson.
Here.
Leanne Langston.
Here.
Ivory Van.
Here.
Derek Reed.
We have a full council. Consider minutes for August 24th, 2015. Any additions or corrections?
Move for approval.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Deputy Mayor James Gully.
Yes.
Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Leanne Langston.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Mayor Coburn.
Yes, motion carries. We'll now consider the consent agenda, which is items 1 through 18. Is there anything anyone would like to move to the regular agenda?
Move for approval.
Second.
A motion and a second. Mr. Van would like to make some comments prior to our voting.
Yes, on my appointees I made Tuesday, I forgot to mention Lathan Archie. I explained to him what everybody else done. Mr. Archie, he works at the VA, and also he's used to be a real estate agent here in Muskogee. And I'd like to thank Nathan Archie. He's the Reverend Archie. Remember Reverend Archie passed away this past year as his son. And I'd like to thank him. I'd like to thank Marcella Page, Shirley Hilton, Lanston Lee, and Fred Haynes for taking these positions, because, like I say, these people have to spend their time like we do up here now, spending our time. So I just want the people to know that I appreciate them. And also downstairs, I cross every T and I dot every I. When I've done these applications, I made sure my signature was on these applications. So I just wanted to mention that to get it on the record. So again, I'd like to thank all my appointees.
Okay? We have a motion and a second, I think, didn't we?
Yes.
Sure.
Okay. Any comments or discussion? Roll call.
Deputy Mayor James Gully.
Yes.
Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Leanne Langston.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Mayor Coburn.
Yes, motion carries. Regular item number 19.
Hold a public hearing and take action on the approval of an ordinance rezoning the property located at 609 West Peak Boulevard, more particularly described in the ordinance, from R1 Single Family Residential District to I2 Heavy Industrial District, and if approved, authorize staff to revise the official zoning map of the city to reflect said change or take other necessary action.
Tish, I'm assuming you're taking care of that for us.
Yes,
And we
sir.
will consider ourselves in a public hearing.
Yes, sir. This is a request to rezone the 10.58 acres from the R1 residential single-family zone to the I2 heavy industrial district. The property is located at 609 West Peak Boulevard, and this is to allow a potential new tenant or purchaser to the property, and we've been told it is for manufacturing feed pellets. Currently, the site is zoned R1 residential, and the use is Daltal, using it for storage. To the north is zoned I1, and it is the use of road, track, and trail store. To the south is zoned I1, and it is undeveloped property, but it does have the railroad spur on it. To the east is US Highway 64, which is also known as Main Street. And to the west is I1 Industrial, and it is the Daltal facility. The land use map does indicate heavy industrial along the Peak Boulevard zone, and that is between US 64 and 69, and the I2 zone complies with the land use map and the comprehensive plan. Staff, Planning Commission, and Public Works have all recommended approval.
Okay, and no one signed up to speak to this issue, so we will close the public hearing.
Move for approval.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Is there discussion?
I'd like to ask Tish one question. What's the difference between an I-1 and I-2? Daltal is an I-1,
They are, yes.
and then this is an I-2. What's
The use would be with the manufacturing, the pellets would be the smoke and the air, and the manufacturing use would be that they would have the heavier industrial uses.
okay?
And because of the use being the manufacturing versus what Daltal is doing is just having the plant there.
Okay.
It's interesting that would be
A higher zone
prior
class.
residential that it'd be coming from residential, though.
Well,
That's-
that was because it was, at that time, we annexed in that area when we did the industrial park in that area, just never did
Never
got
got changed.
zoned in, or the zoning.
A long time ago.
About 11 years ago.
Yeah.
And it
All
was a
right, did we
vacant
have
building, I
a
think, all that time.
motion
too.
and a second? We were on discussion. Anybody else got a question or comment? Roll call.
Deputy Mayor James Scully.
Yes.
Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Leanne Langston. Ivory Van.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Mayor Coburn.
Yes. Item number 20.
Hold a public hearing and take action on the approval of a resolution amending the future land use map for property located at Davis Field Airport, more particularly described in the resolution from light industrial to the airport layout plan, and if approved, authorize staff to revise the land use map of the city to reflect said change.
And again, we will be in a public hearing, and Tish Callahan.
This is a resolution requesting to amend the land use map from light industrial to now the airport layout plan. And the property is located at Davis Field Airport. It's to allow the property to be developed in accordance with the airport layout plan. The amendment will allow the airport to be developed with commercial and/or industrial uses as long as it is developed in accordance with the airport layout plan that is now to be approved by the airport board and the FAA. It will also allow property within the airport to be rezoned and developed without future amendments to the land use map. The Airport Board, staff, Planning Commission, and Public Works Committee have recommended approval.
All right, and no one's signed up to speak to this item as well, so we will close the public hearing.
Move for approval.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Is there discussion regarding this item? Roll call.
Deputy Mayor James Scully.
Yes.
Janie Boydston. Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Leanne Langston.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Mayor Coburn.
Yes, motion carries. Item number 21.
Hold a public hearing and take action on the approval of an ordinance rezoning 239 acres, tract 1 and 2 at Davis Field Airport, more particularly described in the ordinance from I-1 Light Industrial District to I-2 Heavy Industrial District, and if approved, authorize staff to revise the official zoning map of the city to reflect said change or take other necessary action.
We will consider ourselves in public hearing again. Tish?
This is a request to rezone 239 acres from the I-1 Light Industrial District to the I-2 Heavy Industrial District. And this property is located at Davis Field Airport. It's to allow for industrial development at the airport under the Port of Muskogee. The existing zoning for the site is the I-1. It is within the Davis Field Airport. To the north is I-1. It is the Davis Field Airport. To the south is I-1, it's within the Davis Field Airport. To the east is outside the city limits, and it's pasture and single-family development, and it is bordered by the road there. And to the west is I-1, and it is within the Davis Field Airport. The land use map does indicate light industrial within the Davis Field Airport, and the I-2 zone does not comply with land use map unless the amendment and an amendment is required prior to the rezoning, and that was what was done. The staff, Airport Board, Planning Commission, and Public Works recommended approval subject to the land use map being amended, which had been done prior to this request.
Okay. No one's signed up to speak to this item as well, so we'll close the public hearing.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion?
Yes, I'd like for you, Tish, if you don't mind, to go over the I-2 zoning again, because we've got this adjacent to housing, correct? Single-family dwellings. Can you go through that again, please?
Well, I think with the I-2 zoning, what they're requesting is to do the highest zoning classification that they can within the industrial, just to cover any uses that may want to come in within the zoning classification. There isn't that much difference between the I-1 and the I-2 because all of the uses have to be within an enclosed facility. So any of the smoke or noise would still have to be within the enclosed building. It would have to be buffered. And with that, at the single family, they do have that buffering of the road, and then there would be the requirement of usually it's 300, I think it was 300 feet buffer between the facility and residential.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comments or questions? Roll call.
Deputy Mayor James Scully.
Yes.
Janie Boydston. Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Leanne Langston.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Mayor Coburn.
Yes. Motion carries. Item number 22.
Consider approval of an amended ordinance and joinder agreement amending the employee retirement system defined contribution plan for the city of Muskogee, providing for severability and declaring an emergency or take other necessary action.
Kelly Epperson.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. This ordinance and joinder agreement are to have the current city attorney be immediately vested under his retirement, as you all discussed in the executive session a couple of weeks ago. I would recommend approval and also recommend approval that it be moved for an emergency for an October 1st effective date.
Move for approval.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Roll call.
Deputy Mayor James Scully.
Yes.
Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Leanne Langston.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Mayor Coburn.
Yes.
Thank you.
Motion carries. Now, we'll now consider a
Move for the emergency.
Okay, move for emergency.
Second.
We have a second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Deputy Mayor James Scully.
Yes.
Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Leanne Langston.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Mayor Coburn.
Yes, motion carries. Item number 23.
Consider approval of a resolution temporarily modifying portions of Council Policy 7-1 for a period of 60 days, reducing spending limits to $10,000, requiring additional documentation for purchases be presented to the Purchasing Committee or take other necessary action.
Dan Hall.
After last week when we discussed this, we talked about lowering our PO, our purchasing limits down to $10,000. A lot of concerns came up about that, about us possibly the feeling that we may shut the city down or people be able to purchase things in a timely fashion. And then we got into the emergency purchasing of everything, and it didn't seem like it was going to slow anything down, because if we still had a water line break, a sinkhole, or anything like that, we're going to still follow the same policy and still declare an emergency and still get the money to them no matter what. I think my intent when we started this process was to eliminate unwanted spending, where it allowed people to just go out and purchase whatever they wanted to, or get us involved into contracts, or and call people and get advice from other people and outside, what do you call it?
Consulting contract?
Consultants. I don't like being told about someone using a consultant or something like that. I understand there's times that we're going to have emergencies, and I think that still falls under an emergency emergency purchasing order. So therefore, if it's an emergency, we can get outside consulting. What I don't like is when we sit around and we keep using the same consultant to run our city and to do other things. I think that if we're going to do something like that, it needs to be brought to the city council, and those things need to be brought up as a contract item, and it needs to be taken care of. But there's a whole lot of other things in there. I don't think that the employees should be able to just have $25,000 to go spend any way they want to. I know that it still's got to go through purchasing and stuff like that. There's some issues with this that I'm having some problems with, and that's why I put this on the agenda. I don't see it bogging our city down and stopping what we're doing. If it's just for a short time to see if it'll work. And I know there was a lot of concerns about it. I don't know. Mr. Johnson, I don't know.
You know, I don't think our original intent at this time was to reduce the spending limit to $10,000. I think that's how it got worded on the agenda item. The original intent, or at least my intent, was for right now for us to try for 60 days to make sure everything goes through the purchasing department, and that we make sure all quotes go through the purchasing department. All documentation of those quotes is secured in the purchasing department and is reviewable by the purchasing committee. Thank you. I appreciate that. By the purchasing committee. and we review this for 60 days and see how this process is going. But if we right now reduce the spending limit to $10,000, I think in some ways we could choke down and slow down things at a time that we're really at a critical stage. That was not what the intent was at this stage. You know, really the opportune time of really looking at all purchasing, and that's when Dan had originally said this, I guess 2 months ago. 2 months ago, I'd said, hey, let's wait until we're looking at all purchasing. You know, we've got a new purchasing policy going forward. But then at that time, I really had some concerns because some purchasing had been done that really didn't fall within those guidelines, and we got to get a handle on it. But I think this intermediate 60-day trial will give a good time for the purchasing committee, the purchasing department, to take a look at this new procedure and see if this additional load can be handled by the purchasing department and enough information can be reviewed by the purchasing committee without putting further restrictions on department heads on things that are between $10,000 and $25,000 that would restrict some preliminary major projects that we've had. We've had some major things that occurred that would really restrict those items. So,
you're talking about amending this that we have in our packet?
that would be up to, it's Dan's item, but I would recommend that, instead of reducing the spending limit, that would be stricken, and it would just be that it would go for a 60-day trial for everything at that $10,000 limit to be going through the purchasing committee and all documentation secured in the purchasing department and then reviewed by the purchasing committee.
I'm kind of confused. It sounds to me like saying two different things. You're saying not to do the 10,000, but then you are saying in the 60-day time
Not
period
to reduce.
do the 10,000.
We're not going to reduce the 10,000. It just goes through purchasing. Purchasing monitors everything for 60 days.
So
Right
this
now-
would be a directive to staff, not a change in ordinance.
Correct.
Correct.
Because right now, the challenge that I discovered is where a department head could secure quotes or could get quotes. Those quotes could then not go through the purchasing department, could be approved, and there could be some errors in those quotes. This way, those quotes would all have to go through the purchasing department. So a department head could go out and he would have to submit those guidelines to the purchasing department. The purchasing department would handle getting those quotes. They would secure those quotes. They would notify the department head who was awarded those quotes. So it removes that third party out of it.
Mr. Tucker, if that's the case and we strike the $10,000, is that's what's in the remaining portion of the
No.
change?
No, this sends everything to the purchasing committee because it goes to the purchasing department anyway.
Yeah.
And that's
It's going to the purchasing committee also.
How often does the
Okay.
purchasing
But if
committee
I'm
meet?
hearing correctly, Mr. Johnson saying things aren't going to.
They're not
the
going
Not
there now.
going-
and that's what we were
Is this a
talking.
matter of just doing the policy that we have now according to the policy,
Mayor,
or making an adjustment?
I agree with Mr. Johnson because that was kind of my thoughts also, was anything between 10 and 25,000, even after the purchasing department approved and the city manager signed off on it. The thought was the purchasing committee would then be able to review what had been done on any purchases between 10 and 25,000, and we want to see the documentation for the three quotes and why they voted for, approved a best bid, so we would know, not if it was low bid, then we're in a lot better shape, but if it was the best bid, we want to see the documentation that followed that best bid.
And that is in section 2 of the resolution.
So the purchase would go ahead and be made, we would just be aware of it after the fact, sort of. But
Yes,
still
we'd be
we
more
would
of
review
an oversight
it in purchasing.
that we could see what was going on, and then if we have any issues, then we could bring it back to council and the city manager going, here's some issues we need to improve the process.
So it's a matter of just striking the one particular item.
Section 1. Striking section 1 of the resolution.
Oh, okay.
I got, Everybody through? I got a question. Tuesday, I voted yes, but tonight I'm voting no. But I think it ought to be left just like it is, the 25,000, because like I say, we had Mr. Wembley come up here. We had Mike Stewart down there the other day, and they've been here quite a while. And I believe in what Mr. Mike Stewart says. He's been here with the city a long time, and I just don't understand why we're changing it. We go through these strategic plans. We go to these workshops. Last year we went to one. Seemed like we upped it up to 25,000. Seemed like we were just wasting our time going to these workshops. You know, I could be doing something else, and I'm pretty sure the rest of these councilmen would be doing something else. You know, I don't understand why all of a sudden you want to change it. Yeah, I really do understand, but I hate to get real up here tonight, because I can get real. It's all because of Erskine Howard. Is the reason you want to change it, Mr. Hall. It's nothing to do with the $10,000 like that. It's just Mr. Brown has the right to sign. He's the only one that's going to sign for $25,000, correct? Am I correct?
No,
We're not cutting it to $10,000.
We're not cutting it?
no.
No.
Oh, that's what we
We're
were
going to leave it at
just talking about.
25?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, I thought we was cutting.
We were all sitting here talking about it about 2 seconds ago.
Okay, another thing is, just like we was talking in Public Works the other day, is, you know, you said you had some people that's doing something wrong. What people are doing something wrong on this?
We're
And
not,
discuss
Talk
that
about
in here.
personnel.
we're not going to get into discussing personnel issues. And
Okay, because I need to be in the loop too. I know you got the little group over on that side, but this side over here needs to be involved in some of the talk.
It should
that you
be
do.
the whole group.
Well, the whole group. That's what I'm saying. Because like I said, you don't get with me. This, you know.
Well, this was brought up in
Purchasing.
purchasing committee.
Okay.
And that's really what we were looking for, Ivory, is so that we would be able to give Donnie Wembley some backing, and whenever they approve the 3 quotes, there would be, the purchasing committee would also been review those things and approve, especially when we had best bids. If it's a low bid, I think everybody pretty well understands it, but there's usually, it's kind of nebulous if it becomes a best bid. And we just want to be able to see the documentation for the best bid and be able to give Mr. Wembley some backing if we see some of that stuff or ask questions while we're out in public. And so really it's just kind of giving staff some support that we know more what's going on in that $10,000 to $25,000 range.
Okay, but the final deal is the city manager has he signs the 25,000, right?
And the city treasurer, is that correct?
And the purchasing agent.
And Mr. Wembley.
Okay.
So basically, all we're doing is implementing sample time for period to see if the purchasing office and the purchasing committee has the tools of disposition that they need to review purchases between $10,000 to $25,000,
Yes, sir. Pretty much. Yeah, and not lowering the limit.
not lowering the limit.
No, sir.
And I'm assuming at some point, based on what you all find, you'll be making recommendations to modify the purchasing
Yes, sir.
policy.
Well, and the overall goal of this is, you know, they're working on a purchasing policy. And that's what's needing to be updated and updated. But during this time period, this would be a good time to implement this and see if this would be a good tool that would be part of that purchasing policy.
And those purchases will be reviewed by the purchasing committee, not the full council.
Then we'll report back to you.
Well,
The
ultimately,
purchasing
yeah,
committee will report to the council.
back to the council.
Okay, I just want to be sure we wasn't adding a whole hour to
No,
the finance
no.
committee meetings.
No.
Can.
Okay.
We're gonna add that out. We're gonna add that out to the purchasing committee. We're gonna add that out to the purchasing committee.
you're going to add the hour to the purchasing committee.
And that's fine. I think that's our due diligence.
And it may
I think
be
it's due
that
diligence. That's what we're
the
there for.
purchasing committee increases in time, but right now it's very important that we monitor purchases.
Yeah.
I'd just like to, can I call Mr. Wembley up here? Mr. Wembley, what do you think about this process? Because the other day I thought we said something different about that 25,000 you were talking about. That I know the city manager has the right, to sign the stuff, but it was about the council had to have these meetings if anything was higher than $25,000 in some kind of range like that. We had to go through the council anyway. Had to come up here for more meetings, and and you made that point, and I agree with you. I don't think we should have to come up here to any more meetings because of this situation.
Purchasing committee's gonna take on that burden.
Okay, I just want a good understanding.
Purchasing committee's gonna.
what you have reference to is dealing with Muskogee. Muskogee is the one that was saying that they have $15,000 that it goes to the city manager. Anything that's above $15,000 up, it go to the council. Council have to approve that, and that's where they have to have special meetings to sign all those bills or invoices to take care of that. So that's the only reference that I had. I was just giving some criterias of local around the city. But we talked about from 1,000 up to 25 or 24,999, that have to be approved by the city manager and I, if any purchases over that. Anything that's 25,000 over, that go out to a form of bids. So, and then the RFPs that take place in that area there.
Okay. Just trying to get a good understanding on this.
So whatever was discussed prior to tonight is not being done. We're just empowering the purchasing committee to review purchases between $10,000 and $24,999, then make their formal report.
Yes, sir.
Move for
We should
approval.
have a sample resolution in there that we would be potentially voting on.
Reverend Coleman, is your motion to approve the resolution
No.
By amending it,
Yes.
striking section 1?
Striking section 1.
Okay. Is that the second?
Yes.
Motion and a second. Is there further discussion? Roll call.
Deputy Mayor James Scully.
Yes.
Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Leanne Langston.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Mayor Coburn.
Yes. Motion carries. Item number 24.
Consider approval of a one-year cooperative agreement between the City of Muskogee and Downtown Muskogee, Inc. for the period July 1st, 2015 through June 30th, 2016, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Brown.
Yes, Mayor and council members, the process is on the regular agenda. Anyway, the DMI contract expired back on June 30th, 2015, and as a housekeeping measure, we're trying to renew their current contract. Anyway, so my recommendation is that we approve the renewal of their one-year DMI contract.
Roy, the reason is it's on the regular agenda, is it because a couple of the committee
Abstentions.
members
Yes.
abstained?
Okay.
I guess my question is they have no financial interest. Do they need to abstain even though they're on that board?
Legally, no, they are not required to abstain. However, I realize out of an overabundance of caution, they felt that they needed to, with Councilwoman Langston being the executive director. Though it's an unpaid position, still she felt like it was appropriate to do that. And then Councilman Johnson being its vice chairman.
Okay, because I asked that because so many of us serve on other committees that come before us, and I don't recall that happening.
You don't have a financial conflict, but still individual council members feel, though it's probably safe, to exercise an overabundance of caution and abstaining in certain instances.
Thank you for the clarification. Move for approval.
Second.
Where's the contract?
Motion and a second.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, I apologize. Where's the contract?
The contract is not attached, but I know that the city attorney's office has made changes to it. And was it on the day as last week, Roy? That's so many things.
I didn't pass it out.
I
I don't believe it was.
I guess
The only changes we would have made from last year would be the changes recommended by the manager, which were to make all agreements non-perpetual and to change the deadline for requesting city funding.
Okay.
And there was an addition to any publicity that we put out.
Thank you.
Yeah.
With the assistance of the city of Muskogee.
Correct.
But the current contract does specifically reference these things that are in the background statement.
You know, Counselor, I'm going to say that, the contract's not here. And specifically, we're just asking that it be renewed under the same terms with the conditions Roy Tucker just laid out. But we'd be more than happy to table this item. We're currently paying them right now we had some transition. Contracts used to be in the city attorney's office, and there has been some readjusting of where the contracts are at. It's a pretty easy read contract. It's not a very complicated one. This is a current, we've had this contract forever.
I can get a contract to you. But those were the only changes.
Just as a point of
It's already
record,
executed by you all, too. We did
question.
get to the council.
why are we dealing with this after it's already expired?
Well, that's what I was saying. There was some transition. The city attorney's office was actually renewing all the contracts. This is one of the ones that actually wasn't in that batch that we approved after the budget.
Okay.
Normally, where our practice the last couple of years has been, we approve the contracts subject to the budget being appropriated, and this one got called out of turn. So.
I do agree with Mr. Coleman. I think we ought to have an attachment when a contract's listed, even if it's just routine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just.
Did we have a motion, Pam?
We did.
We do, and we have a second.
Yes.
Okay. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Deputy Mayor James Scully.
Yes.
Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Wayne Johnson.
Abstain due to Vice Chairman.
Leanne Langston.
Abstain.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Mayor Coburn.
Yes. Motion carries. Item 25.
Consider approval of the appointment of William Mark Luttrell to the Planning and Zoning Commission to serve a 3-year term beginning on October 1st, 2015, and ending on September 30th, 2018, replacing Sean Raper, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Hall.
I'm excited about this appointment of Mark Luttrell. He's been a long time citizen of Muskogee, been involved in our community as a police officer, and now he's taken over the family business at Pioneer Abstract. I think planning and zoning is a perfect fit for Mark Luttrell, and I would like to recommend him for planning and zoning.
Is that a motion?
Is that a motion?
Yes.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Deputy Mayor James Scully.
Yes.
Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Leanne Langston.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Mayor Coburn.
Yes. Motion carries. Item number 26.
Can I take 1 second?
Yes, you
Guys,
may.
I love you all, but I need to be excused if you don't mind. I have a sophomore playing football tonight.
Okay.
Good luck.
Thank you, sir.
Consider approval of the appointment of Brent Trout to the Historical Preservation Commission beginning on October 1st, 2015, and ending on September 30th, 2018, replacing Wilma Newton, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Gully.
Yes, this is my appointment, and I talked to Ms. Callahan, who's the staff member of the Historic Preservation Committee, and she told me that the criteria for certification is that we have to have a historian and an architect or an engineer. They were very specific. A lawyer, very specific. Brent Trout is the museum director for the U.S. Memorial Batfish, and he has a master's degree in history, and he's a published author in history. So I think he'll be a good fit for Ms. Callahan. He's relatively new to the city of Muskogee, been here about a little over a year and a half, and I think he'll be a good fit for that committee, so I recommend it and move for approval.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? And his wife, Mia, works for the Chamber of
also.
Commerce, and they are a heck of an addition to this community.
They are plugged
Is that on
in.
that packet that you passed around for, is that historical? Is that information on that packet? Because it needs to be, because I didn't know that.
I just happened to go up and ask Tish what the kind of recommendations were from the staff, and she started telling me the things that she had to have, and it's like, wow.
It's in the ordinance, right,
Yes.
Tish? It's in the ordinance.
What I'm saying is,
You'd
when
like
we
to
got
see
the
it.
packet, we should have been able to see that, so we telling these people what these positions are, it ought to be in black and white, what they, what they're qualified to do.
Yeah, I was surprised.
And I've got some people that I've told about it, but I didn't know what, that's what I'm saying, communication.
I felt some Tish's pain. Now I'm trying to constitute that committee.
Okay.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Deputy Mayor James Scully.
Yes.
Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Leanne Langston.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Dan Hall. Mayor Coburn.
Yes. Motion carries. Item 27.
Consider approval of the appointment of Dave Davis to the Board of Adjustment to serve a 3-year term beginning October 1st, 2015, and ending September 30th, 2018, replacing Jim Eby, or take other necessary action.
Ms. Boydston.
Yes, I am moving that Dave Davis go on the Board of Adjustment. He, I think, would be a good addition. He has had some municipal experience in another community, and I think he will be knowledgeable and a great asset.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Deputy Mayor James Gully.
Yes.
Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Leanne Langston.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Coburn.
Yes, motion carries. Item 28.
Consider approval of the appointment of Joel Cousins to the Historic Preservation Commission to serve a 3-year term beginning October 1st, 2015, and ending on September 30th, 2018, replacing Sharon Harper, or take other necessary action.
Ms. Boydston again.
Yes, I am moving to appoint Joel Cousins. He is a longtime Muskogee citizen, and I know he has a passionate interest in the preservation of all things historical.
Second.
Thank you.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Deputy Mayor James Gully.
Yes.
Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Leanne Langston.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Coburn.
Yes, motion carries. Item 29.
Consider approval of the reappointment of Ernie Gilder to the Muskogee City County Port Authority to serve a 4-year term beginning October 1st, 2015, and ending on September 30th, 2019, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Johnson.
Yes, everybody knows Ernie Gilder and how well he serves the city of Muskogee in our community. Right now, it's extremely important that we reappoint Ernie Gilder to the Port Authority. We've got a lot of things going right now with the Port Authority, the foundation, and the airport board. It's really important that we have that continuation of effort, and I'm really pleased that Ernie Gilder is willing to continue that path.
Second.
Second.
Oh, I'm sorry, Leanne.
Got a second. Motion and a second. Any discussion?
Yes, I was wondering, on the Port Authority Board, do we have any minorities?
You know, I do not know, because I've only been out to the port maybe twice, but we can find out.
I'd like to know that, because I don't think so, but I'd just like to know it.
If I'm not mistaken, Roy, this is just a recommendation of appointment. It has to go to the county commission for ratification.
That's correct.
So this is just a recommendation. This has to go to the county commission to be approved. So we're just recommending, the council is recommending that we appoint.
Just to be clear, we actually make the appointment and the county confirms.
Okay.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. Is there discussion further? Roll call.
Deputy Mayor James Gully.
Yes.
Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Leanne Langston.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Coburn.
Yes. Item number 30, 29 passes, and item number 30.
Consider approval of the appointment of James Young to the Street Improvement Advisory Commission to serve a 5-year term beginning on October 1st, 2015, and ending on September 30th, 2020, replacing Perlene Boyata, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Johnson again.
Yeah, James Young's been a teacher for Muskogee Public Schools for years. He's lived in the district for 36 years. Knows the community well. He's retired. I think he'll serve well on the Street Improvement Advisory Committee, and that'd be my recommendation.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. I think he actually was a teacher for both of my children.
Yeah, great science
Muskogee High
teacher and coach in our community, and
Yes.
so he's commuted a lot of kids in our community and served in a lot of different areas.
Good. Any discussion? Roll call.
Deputy Mayor James Gully.
Yes.
Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Leanne Langston.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Coburn.
Yes, motion carries. Item 31.
Consider approval of the appointment of Brian Fortney to serve on the War Memorial Trust Authority to serve a 3-year term beginning on October 1st, 2015, and ending on September 30th, 2018, replacing Tom Clayton, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Johnson again.
Brian Fortney has served in the military for 34 years. I think he'll be a tremendous asset to the War Memorial. He also is very skilled in carpentry and stuff, and I think he'll be a tremendous asset for Memorial.
So you know you're throwing him under the bus? Yeah, just a question.
A little bit.
We're going to lose a pretty good carpenter here pretty quick.
All right, that gets a motion,
Second.
and we got a second. Is there discussion?
Is there any qualification for this board that I should know about?
Carpentry.
Well,
Gotta be a
we
carpenter to be on
that.
this board?
We got that one covered. We need.
Any weld?
There you
Yeah,
go.
we need to-
We need that sometime.
Seriously though? You got, I
I
mean,
don't think so.
Oh, okay.
No. Oh, there is a requirement that out of that board, only 3 can be outside the city limits. So, and I can't remember, I think there's 9 on the board.
Yes, that's
So
correct.
6 have to live inside the city limits,
3
but we
outside.
can have, we're
3
one of the few
outside.
boards that can have outside, members outside the city limits, but that's limited to 3.
Okay. Motion and a second. Anything further? Roll call.
Deputy Mayor James Gully.
Yes.
Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Leanne Langston.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Coburn.
Yes, motion carries. Item number 32.
Consider approval of the appointment of Doug Walton to the Street Advisory Commission to serve a 5-year term beginning on October 1st, 2015, and ending on September 30th, 2020, replacing Robert Perkins, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Reed.
For the record, first of all, when it comes to Mr. Robert Perkins, I did do my research. Y'all know this is painful to replace him, but this is one of those kind of boards that you have to sit off a year. So I had to put that on the record so I can sleep at night. I received a request from Doug Walton. We know Doug Walton from the Health Department. We know him from his campaign to get trails, lanes for bikes on our streets, and so I think he'll be a great asset to this committee. He volunteered, so I think I should give him the opportunity to serve in this area where he wants to serve. And so I move for approval for Douglas Walton for this position.
Second.
Got a motion and a second, and he's an advocate for a clean community and has helped with cleanup significantly.
And he attends most of the street committee meetings as it is now.
If no discussion, roll call.
Deputy Mayor James Gully.
Yes.
Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Leanne Langston.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Coburn.
Yes, motion carries. Item 33.
Consider approval of the appointment of Edwina Siner to the Historic Preservation Commission to serve a 3-year term beginning on October 1st, 2015, and ending on September 30th, 2018, replacing Jonita Mullins, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Reed again.
Once again, replacing some shoes like Janetta Mullins, but back to the same scenario. She has to sit off a year before she can serve back on this board. But she was a great asset to this commission. But I am honored to present Ms. Edwina Siner, and she's another one that came to me ever since I've been on the council. She's talked about boards that she signed up for and wanted to get on the school board, and she's been overlooked. And so I think she'd be a great person. Her family is very historic in our community. She is the sister of the late Congressman Mike Siner. She lives in the Founders District, so she has a passion and a love about the history of the city as well. So on that note, I would like to appoint Ms. Edwina Siner to fill this position.
Class of 71.
Class of
Second.
71.
Let's don't get into that stuff.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, okay, we got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Ed Siner.
That's her dad.
That's her dad, is it
Yeah.
correct?
Edwina Siner.
Okay. Roll call.
Deputy Mayor James Scully.
Yes.
Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Leanne Langston.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Coburn.
Yes, motion carries. Item number 34.
Consider approval of the appointment of Dr. Larry Smith to the Urban Renewal Authority as Ward 3 representative to serve a 3-year term beginning on October 1st, 2015, and ending on August 31st, 2018, replacing Richard Postlick, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Reed again.
On this one, I must apologize. It was not the clerk's office's fault that you guys didn't get his application ahead of time. I just received it this afternoon, so I'll take full blame and responsibility. I'm glad Dan is gone because he said he was going to make me put it on next week's agenda because I didn't get this in time. But I'm nominating Reverend Dr. Larry Smith for this position. He lives in Ward 3, but he pastors the Macedonia Baptist Church. Macedonia is the church that sits there right in the heart of urban renewal on the other side of the highway. So he pastors many people who have homes in that area. There's been numerous occasions the mayor have called me and asked me that I know who this person is. I said, well, let me check my resource. So, Mayor, this is my resource.
I'm glad that, and it's on the record now, too.
Yes, sir. This is
Yeah.
my resource. But Dr. Larry Smith, he is a great voice for that area, has a lot of love and passion for that area, and I think he'll represent them well, serving on the Auburn Renewal Authority.
Do these recommendations need to be by ward on that?
On that
Yes.
Okay, all right, and
He
he
does.
does fulfill the ward obligation?
He does live in my ward. He lives in Ward 3.
Okay, all
one.
right.
Second.
Motion and a second, any discussion?
I think that's a good appointment, Councilman Reed. Reverend
Okay.
Smith's a very good man.
And another thing I want to apologize for, I didn't sign it, but I come around there and personally sign yours.
Well, I signed mine downstairs. I didn't
Want
sign
their
it on the
sign
sheet.
before they
You
vote?
got to sign it
Y'all can pass
downstairs.
them by down, and I'll sign them for you.
This is one of the, I tell you what, this is one of the great things, you know, of councilmen being able to appoint these people to the board. And that's one of the greatest things I've seen passed up here, and I've enjoyed it thoroughly. And I'm pretty sure y'all have too.
All right, let's enjoy it with your vote.
Yes, sir.
Roll call.
Deputy Mayor James Gully.
Yes.
Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Leanne Langston.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Coburn.
Yes, motion carries. And as I understand, no one signed up to speak, is that correct? Okay, so we'll now consider item 35.
Consider an executive session to discuss and take possible action on the following. Pursuant to Section 307B4, Title 25 Oklahoma statutes, consider convening an executive session to discuss the workers' compensation claim of Wayne Karstens, and if necessary, take appropriate action in open session.
We'll
Move we
now
go to executive session.
It's okay.
Second.
A motion is second. Is there discussion regarding executive session? Roll call.
Deputy Mayor James Gully.
Yes.
Janie Boydston. Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Leanne Langston.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Coburn.
Yes, motion carries. So we will now consider ourselves in executive session. If you would excuse yourselves from the chambers. We will now reconvene from executive session. Roll call.
Mayor Bob Coburn.
Here.
Deputy Mayor James Gully.
Here.
Dan Hall. Marlon Coleman.
Here.
Janie Boydston.
Here.
Wayne Johnson.
Here.
Leanne Langston.
Here.
Ivory Van.
Here.
Derek Reed.
Here.
Mr. Tucker.
Item 34A, pursuant to Section 307B4, Title 25 Oklahoma statutes, the City Council did convene an executive session to discuss the workers' compensation claim of Wayne Karstens. After being fully briefed on the status and the merits of that claim, it is the recommendation of the City Attorney's Office that the claim be settled in the amount of $31,654 with vocational rehabilitation. Happy to answer any questions.
Move for approval.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Is there discussion? Roll call.
Deputy Mayor James Gully.
Yes.
Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Leanne Langston.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Dan Hall. Mayor Coburn.
Yes, motion carries. That concludes our agenda for this evening's meeting. Thank you for joining us.